All right, good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning here. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We were pretty productive here with getting some stuff done. Not so much as far as, action on the cabins and things like that, but we were able to get some stuff done that really kind of starts pushing us forward here. So got kind of a busy day today. We're trying to organize things so once lumber actually starts coming off the mill, I got some place to put it that makes sense. And yeah, so we're still missing a few little bits and bobs to make, this production area really, 100% active. But, we might be able to make some things happen. So maybe by the end of the day, I may be able to make some sawdust, and we'll see what happens. So let me show you what we're going to get started with first. Well, first and foremost, I'm going to have to move the bus. Okay, this area over here, this is really going to be my lumber drying area. This is the thing I've complained about before, really just kind of being disorganized and, the old term rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. This is really another one of those things to where, I wanted everything out of the way at first, so I can maintain my pathway here to get down to the cabins and stuff with the four-wheeler. That's fine. Everything, this worked for me initially. Well, now it's got to change. So I'm going to move the bus. The bus is going to go down the hill a little bit and kind of out of the way. Then I've got to kind of clear this up. I've got to put some of these smaller, almost like lodgepole pine type things, these smaller straight trees here that have been bucked up. I think they're about 12 foot maybe. I'm going to bury them in the ground a little bit and really just make some poles. I'm going to string a tarp up in between them, and that's going to cover my wood drying area. But this whole area here, because it's flat, it's generally, it is on the way down to the cabins. It makes sense. It's easy. It's an easy kind of walk across the area here from the mill to get the boards over to the drying area. Would I like the drying area right next to the mill? Sure, but that's just not going to happen. So temporarily, this is going to work just fine. Again, my objective here is to get these timbers into lumber, just so it can start to dry, and we can I'll give it a couple months or something to dry, and then once that happens, cabins 1 and 3 are just going to start really coming together. So anyway, first things first, I got to move all of this. This is some of the oak that I have here. Some of this stuff has been bucked up for firewood. Others, it's for some posts, and I gotta move more stuff. Oh, it's just one of those things. But it's got to happen. So we'll get to this, and then we'll move on. Once all that's done, we'll start probably digging some post holes, put those trees in, and maybe get the tarp up. We'll see. It's supposed to be a beautiful day today, and there's no excuse not to make some progress today. So let's get it. All right, guys, with the bus moved out of here, it really kind of opens this area up a little bit. So it's a bit of a conundrum. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to put my first post in. The tarp I'm using is going to be 16 by 20. So it's relatively large, and that's fine. I'd rather it be too big than too small right now. So somewhere over in this area here, first post will go in. It will extend over. I'll probably have to just kind of roll all these logs kind of over in this direction here and put my posts kind of where, I don't know, 16 feet, or obviously greater than 16 feet because it's the way I'm going to hang the tarp up and stuff. Maybe 20 feet this way. Definitely got to keep my space open on the other side here for the four-wheeler to get through. But then, you know, I need enough space between them to get the tarp up and it tied to these longer posts that I'm going to put in the ground. So again, all just an experiment. We're going to see how this is going to go. Get my favorite tool out here and start making some post holes. Guys, let's take a look at this first one here. It is ridiculously tall, considering what I'm going to use it for. So the tarp is probably only going to be about 10 feet off the ground. And this tree itself was, I think when I measured it there on the ground, it was about 14, 15 feet long. So I'll probably just leave it. I mean, I've got some eye bolts that I'm going to put into the wood that's actually going to hold the tarp. So digging was pretty easy because this is actually part of the trench that the electric folks dug. So I didn't go down far enough to really disturb the cable itself. But you can see here, I actually dug up one of the markers when the guy came out to say, hey, this is where you guys need to put it. So yeah, I'm going to have to tamp down the soil a little bit just because it is kind of loose and stuff. I don't anticipate. I can always put little cross braces into the ground and stuff like that because I don't want to have the tarp under too much tension to actually just kind of pull the tree, tilt it or lean it or whatever. So I've got some options, but the idea, this is the basic idea. I'm going to use some of these smaller, skinnier trees here that are cut the length, and then we're going to hang a tarp. So, and I'm realizing as I was over here doing this, all of these were stacked up with the excavator. So I don't have the excavator with me. So I'm actually, when I start to roll them, they're all just going to be rolled out on the ground now. And I will probably, that might make it easier if I get them over. Let's see if I can show this here a little bit. If I roll them this way and this area is clear through here, I'll be able to get the log arch in here and I can actually start staging some of these logs over there by the log rack. So some of the larger ones, especially that large one that's on top there, that'll come down and that'll actually, you'll do two things. One, it'll get ready to be put on the mill, and two, that's really kind of a hazard being up there kind of at the top like that. Not that I'm expecting it to roll down, but you never know. And you know, well, at least Rebecca's in yelling distance. She could hear me yelling if I was conscious. But, you know, we'll see. All right, guys, I got 3 more posts to put in, and then, yeah, maybe we'll see. Once I get the posts in, then I'll get these logs out of the way, move some, I don't know what I'm going to do here. We'll see. We'll see. Here we go. saw right there was really how this whole thing is gonna go down. Back in the log arch into here from the, whoa, almost fell, from the logs here. At least for right now. Once there's wood here or lumber here that's going to be drying, you know, I obviously can't do this, but I can stack up several of these larger ones that are here over there onto the log rack. Really just have it kind of sitting there. So process for each log was relatively quick. Granted, you know, picking up with a tractor and a grapple would be, you know, much quicker, but last time I checked the money tree, it said do some hard work before you decide to do something like that. So we'll line these up just like this. We'll stack them up. We'll put the cable around it here, and we'll pull it up here onto the log rack in case you've been having any trouble kind of visualizing what was going to happen here. So these two have decided to be the first cuts on the mill. So that might happen today still. We'll see. I still got some work to do over here, obviously. So I can't really cut if I don't have a place to put it. So that's the gist of things. All right, guys, I'm going to keep kind of adjusting, moving, and stacking those logs that are back there and up here. And of course, I've got three more posts I got to put in for the tarp that's going to cover all this. The good news is I've got still a couple days worth of good weather, so it's not like I'm expecting rain tomorrow. So this will be a nice kind of, you know, just kind of picking away at stuff. So all right, guys, I'm going to keep rolling. All right, guys, moved quite a few things around, dug some more holes, and this is kind of the state we're in right now. So this front post here is in, the back post, the far back post is in there, and then this was the last one I just put in here, this front post. So moved most of the logs that were here, rolled them over to this part. It's not much underneath the gonna be the tarp that's gonna cover that. Before I close up for the day, I'm gonna move these here. I'm gonna move these, and I want to start. I have to make a bunch of stickers. It's gonna go between all of my cut lumber. So I'm gonna use a lot of that poplar I had here. And I'm just gonna rip down some 1-inch square stickers to make for that. And then, so this area should all be clear next time you see me here this afternoon. And I'm going to go down to the bottom down there and grab some 4x4s. That's going to be the base that I'm going to put the lumber on. And yeah, then we might be ready to start making some noise. So anyway, just want to give you a little bit of an update here. Things are moving along. All right, guys, wrapping up here for the day. Let me give you a little synopsis of how things transpired today. Some of the 2x material, the stuff I used for the forms for the concrete, which was over there, is now moved. Hopefully that's a semi-permanent spot. A lot of the 1x material, the poplar that I had in that same pile, that's the stuff I'm going to rip up and make stickers. That's where the bus sits now, down on the other end of our circular driveway there. So all that poplar is going to end up being used for stickers. Let's see, what else? I got the logs, or these logs here, are set up to be pulled up the ramp. Okay, those 3 volunteers right there, they're going to be the first. Stuff you see in the back over there, that's a couple pieces of oak. I'm going to save most of the oak for, you know, when I don't want a piece of oak, you know, because I don't have a whole lot of oak out here, and I don't want that to be my first cut and just to go crazy and destroy it. So I can hold off a little bit for that. Some of the other stuff that was here, I just simply rolled it over, got it out of the way. That is, again, just white. You can see the sap on that. It's white and yellow pine sitting over there. And then in the back there, that's a couple pieces of oak that are there in the back. All right, as I showed you a little bit earlier, I got the 4 posts in. This is where we're going to stretch the tarp out and cover it. And then there is I got a tarp down there. I don't know if it's really necessary, but I want to keep the moisture out of the wood as much as I can. So, you know, anything would help. So those are 12-foot 4x4s. So I'm going to be able to stack up quite a bit of lumber on here. And yeah, we're just going to cover it and let it dry there for a couple months probably. And then, you know, it'll end up on the cabins down there. So that's kind of where we're at. The rest of these timbers here were slid over. Got the log arch here, and that's ready to go. So any of these logs here, I can pull right over and get it over towards the log rack and get that going. So, well, the way things are set up right now, you know, my only, you know, dislike about how it is the distance from pulling a piece of lumber off of the mill and then walking it over here to put it in the drying rack. You know, it might be 20 yards or something, but you know, it could be a little better. It's almost like setting up a kitchen with your working triangle. You know, this distance is a little much, but it's fine. So yeah, that's how things transpired. It took all day. A lot of these logs are heavy as hell, and it was really kind of a pain in the ass to move it around. And I was just telling Rebecca that, you know, it's frustrating in that when you move something that's so heavy 3 times, just because, you know, you're really not sure how things are going to end up, and this is how it is. So, yep. So we got them all moved. Guys, all the complaining, all the bitching about having to move stuff again, it's just how it is. I apologize for that, but the good news is tomorrow we're going to make some sawdust. I'm going to make it happen. I think I have an idea about how I'm going to get these logs up on the log rack, since my winch system, my more permanent winch system, isn't really constructed yet. I actually don't even have the winch yet. So I think I'm going to incorporate the log arch, put the log arch on the other side of the mill here, use its winch a little bit. I've got some towing straps at things. You know, this is going to be crazy. This is just going to be a trial and error, and we're going to see what's going to happen. But come hell or high water, there's going to be some sawdust come off this mill tomorrow. All right. So I don't know who's more excited, you guys or me, about this, but I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to see it happen. So I'll get into tomorrow's video, a lot of what happened this weekend, and kind of fill you in for all that stuff. But right now I'm beat up. It's dinner time and I'm hungry. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you on the next one.